Hi, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Go Figure, and Happy New Year. Returning after a 2-month hiatus. And I got some big plans for 2025. Hoping to feature some items other than professional wrestling figures in future episodes. But speaking of big plans, here is a big wrestler, and probably the biggest of all the wrestlers. You may recognize this gentleman. This is the mighty Yokozuna. And Yokozuna was portrayed by Rodney Anawahi. Rodney Anawahi, or Yokozuna, belonged to the famous Anawahi family. Probably the most, if not the most, certainly one of the most revered and successful families in all of professional wrestling. And he comes from quite a lineage. And this particular figure is the Hasbro White Sash Yokozuna. Came out in the last series, the Green Card series of the Hasbro line in 1994. Probably the scarcest figures and probably the most collectible of all in the Hasbro line. And Yokozuna has a white sash here, as you can see. He had an identical figure except for a red sash that came out a couple years beforehand. Living up to his true billing as an action figure, had the sumo smash. And the name Yokozuna itself, for those who are familiar, or I guess, and those who are not familiar, I can tell you, is actually the highest ranking in the martial art of sumo wrestling. And sumo wrestling, I think, doesn't get the credit it deserves. They are portrayed as being these overweight behemoths that aren't particularly athletic. They consume up to 5,000 calories in a meal, then will go and sleep. But what you don't see are the grueling workouts that these men endure. A lot of rolling around, slapping each other, squats. Some of these workouts are truly grueling and fierce. And I have a lot of respect for sumo wrestling. And I have a theory about sumo wrestling. And I think if this was ever developed fully, I think it could really be a real game changer for the particular sport I'm talking about as ice hockey. Think about a sumo wrestler in pads. You're taking an individual who's already wide, adding the padding. It'd be like putting a love seat in front of the goal. Imagine how difficult it would be to shoot pucks into that. But not only a love seat, but now add some moving limbs to it. I think you have yourself the perfect weapon. Well, sumo wrestling aside, Rodney Anawahi, two-time World Wrestling Federation champion, sadly passed away at the age of 34 in 2000. But again, his likeness and memory lives on, and in one way, through his wrestling figure. And if you enjoyed what you saw today, please hit the like button and subscribe. And if you didn't, I only got one word for you. Banzai! Thanks for watching.